Hi, I'm Shoestring Jay and welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. By the time you see this, it will be New Year's Eve. So I hope you're planning to do something nice for New Year's Eve or just have a cozy night at home like we are. We'll probably crack open a bottle of Prosecco and hide from the fireworks because the dog hates fireworks. So as a result, the nearest we'll get to fireworks is watching them on TV. So we'll do that. So anyway, I thought, well, having done every day of Vlogmas, from the 1st of December up to the 24th. I thought that I would perhaps have done a couple of videos this week, but it's been so busy. It's because we've had a house full. We've had a house full of guests and my daughters have been staying and we've been doing bits and pieces and it's just been really busy. And I'm at the point now where they've just literally all just gone and it's Saturday afternoon and I'm just feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So I've just suddenly thought, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I haven't made a video. I've got an article that I've started this morning and I have to do it by the end of the year. So whether I'll do that tomorrow, I've got to go and see my mum tomorrow. I just don't know. I don't know. It's just, I feel really overwhelmed. There's stuff everywhere because we've had a lot of new things come in the house. The girls have taken most of theirs, thankfully, but there's just stuff like washing up and laundry, and there's laundry to do. I've got to strip all the beds and tidy up, and it's just, I've just sat down and I thought I would have most of today to get kind of organised, and then number 2 daughter said, can I give her a lift to her dad's because they've got a family do going on over there. So I said, yes, that's fine, gave her a lift. Number 1 daughter said, oh, I can't go to the family do, it was a terrible sciatica attack, can you bring me over some painkillers? And she lives right at the other side of town. So I had to drop Chloe and then go to the chemist and then take Becky some painkillers, and then she asked me to take her to the shop, and I had to do the dog in between as well. And then by the time I dropped Becky back and then fought myself my way back over here, it's now, what time is it? It's now 3 o'clock and I really feel like I've achieved nothing. Nothing. The dog's had his outings and all of the things I wanted to do today, I've literally just done nothing. So I need to do them now, but I thought, well, let's have a catch up first and explain my feeling of overwhelm. Do you ever get this? I'm sure you do. Really, this should be like a holiday, shouldn't it? But it feels like it's just been a whirlwind and now I need the holiday in order to catch up with myself. I haven't even had time to take my nail varnish off. My nail varnish is all flaking off. My nails are actually flaking off. I haven't had time to do anything today, washing my hair or anything. Anyway, let's have a chat. So New Year, it's a time where you maybe feel like making some New Year's resolutions. I've said I wasn't going to make any New Year's resolutions, but there are some things that I intend to do really in the next few weeks. And I said in my last video, one of the things that it's got to become a New Year's resolution, I think, because I really need to focus on it, is to have a major declutter. And I'm just going to show you, before I do anything else, the state of my office and the state of my garage, and I am embarrassed. I'm really embarrassed by how awful they look and how much clutter there is and how bad we've let it get. So let's start there. This is the messiest room in the house. The messiest room in the house. I had to, because the girls were staying and I had guests coming, I had to put a lot of things that were kind of spread around the house in here. But also, because I asked everybody to bring me, save all their Christmas boxes and envelopes and that kind of thing because they're so useful, they did. So I've got an absolute ton of them and I have not organised them. I've not had time. So they can't stay up here. I've got all my bubble wrap in here as well, 2 sizes. Small cat found a little space to have her food. And there's stock everywhere. This is all like these boxes and things that I need to list. But obviously I haven't done any of that over Christmas. And it's just, it's so got to me now. So I need to do something. I've got things here that I bought. I think I showed you these in the charity shop before Christmas. And I popped out and got these yesterday. It's just a Brown Betty teapot and some glass, vintage glass lamp shades from the MAS warehouse in town, and I only had time for a quick look. Me and Justin went to the cinema, but I picked up a few things. I got that, and then I also got a little cat, this vintage dress. I don't know if I can show you, it's hanging up. It's a vintage woolen dress it's a West Germany. I don't know if you can quite see it. It's quite an ugly sort of dress, but honestly I think that will do well. That was only £2. And a top for Justin, which is in the wash, a weird fish top. So I didn't get very much, but just a few little bits. But you can see I've got to do something with this. However, in order to do something with this, I have to sort the garage out. So let's show you just how bad the garage is looking right now. Here we go. Oh, someone's locked it. Oh my goodness. Right, this is the worst it has ever been. So this is where my stock is supposed to all be neatly in these boxes. But look what's happened. Christmas has exploded. So there's all the packaging from Christmas. There's some newspapers. There's decorating stuff, and decorating stuff here from doing our own house and my daughter Becky's house. Don't know why that suitcase is there. I think one of the girls borrowed it and left it there. There's just stuff. I don't know what this stuff is. There's this shelf which Justin found, and I can really use this, but it's just become full of stuff. I've got decorating stuff again. There's stuff for the charity shop. There's, oh God, there's just stuff. Right, that's just that. There's more stuff behind on this shelf, which I can't get to. I'm never selling any of this at the moment. I can't find it. There's a bag of stuff for the charity shop there. There's all my boxes. So these are the boxes that I actually do keep in the garage. All those other boxes need to come and live down here, so I need to sort it out. I've got things like a radiator, an air conditioning unit, which belong to my daughter, so I need to find somewhere for them to live. This is some listed, some not listed, some just boxes. This is tools and paint, and some of this paint we're never going to use. I mean, how many flipping paint trays do you need? I really have got to sort this out. And what I want to do is clear this and make it my packing station, bring all the boxes down here, and then when I'm packing something, I've got actual room to do it rather than clogging up my entire office. So, oh, this is my first decluttering job that I've got to do, but it won't be until next week because on the weekend now, and it's full of stuff. So wish me luck. So from this week, once New Year's Day is out of the way, let's get that out of the way first. New Year's Day, I've got to take down all the decorations. I don't keep the decorations up until the 6th. I struggle to even keep the decorations up until the 1st, but Justin likes them and he wants them there for New Year's Eve. I feel like Christmas is done. Let's just tidy it away and get on with what's happening in the new year. To me, I don't have to stick to the right amount of time to do things, and the decorations will come down on New Year's Day. And then I can sort that big mess out in the garage, or start to sort it, because a lot of that, we have a little attic bit at the top of the garage and the Christmas stuff all lives up there. And then while I'm up there, I'll do things like put that suitcase up there because that's where they live as well. There's that radiator of my daughter's and an air conditioning unit, which is hers as well. She just hasn't got space for them in her new flat, which is quite small. So I said, oh, let me take them. I'll put them in the garage, which is all very well, but the garage is not, it's not a TARDIS. It only has so much space. And when you don't organise it as you're shoving stuff in, then the space becomes quite limited quite quickly and you can't find anything. And I'm at that point now. I sell something on eBay and I can't get to it. I can't get to the box. So that's making me really stressed out. So that has to be done. So once I've done the Christmas decorations, got them out of the way, I can start to go through everything in that garage, and I'm going to just put on Facebook Marketplace, free, come and get it. And I'm going to put everything out the front of the house. I did that in the summer. So it's not that, it's not that long ago that we actually did have a bit of a clear out. But I've really got to sort out that space. As I said, I really want to make that a packing space for the stuff that I sell online, so that it's not in my office. My office is not very big, and what I want to do with my office is go and sit in there and write, because it needs to be a calm and peaceful place so I can concentrate. And at the moment it's just, you go in there and you just feel like, oh my god, there's so much clutter, there's so many boxes, there's bubble wrap everywhere and sellotape, and it's just not, I hate it. So I've got to sort it out. So anyway, I'm sure you're with me. that's going to be for another video, another day that I start to do that, and I'll show you how I'm getting on. And then I do intend to go through every single cupboard, every single drawer, every nook and every cranny in this house and have a massive clear out, because we have an awful lot of stuff and we just don't need it all. So, you know, I'll either have, no, I'm not, I was thinking I may be able to have a spring boot sale, but I can't hang on to it that long. I think if it's not good enough to sell quickly, then it will just go free to the charity shop, or on Facebook I'll just stick it on the local community group and say come and get it. So yes, so that's where I am today. So I need to kind of get things under control, because I start to get stressed, and I need to know, you know, I need a list, I need to tick things off a list, I need the house to be tidy, I need to keep up to date. I am that sort of person, and when it isn't like that, I can take so much of that and then I get very overwhelmed very quickly. So I don't know if you like that. I'm not like ridiculously house proud ever, but I need a certain level of calm, and I need to know where things are, and tidiness. I need that. So that's where I need to get to. And I would have done some yesterday, but me and Justin decided to go to the cinema, because it's always difficult with the dog. We can't leave him very long, and the girls were here, so we thought, well, Justin really wanted to go and see this new film called Ferrari, which is, as you would imagine, about Ferrari, Enzo Ferrari, and how he kind of built his empire, or the early days of it. But I have to say, rarely have I gone to the cinema and been so bored. I found it a very dull film. It was kind of pretty to look at in places. I mean, it's set in, I think it must have been Tuscany or somewhere. Beautiful scenery and just a nice kind of vintage feel to it. But it was style over substance, it felt like. The story was so slow. It assumed you had a lot of background knowledge of cars and that the car industry, which I just don't. I mean, Justin does. He loves that sort of thing. It's a real hobby of his and a passion, and he actually owns an old classic car. And he loves things like that. So he knew the backstory. He enjoyed it, but even he said it was quite slow in places. I didn't care about any of the characters. They weren't fleshed out. They were just kind of presented to you, fully formed, and you were supposed to kind of care about them. And I think with a film, even if it's based on reality, you want a bit of drama, don't you? And you want to feel that you care about, you get to know, you have an opinion on the characters, and literally just didn't have an opinion on them even. I just thought, well, oh yes, he's a driver. She's a driver's wife. There's Enzo Ferrari, you know, you can see what sort of man he was, but you didn't really you didn't understand what drove him. You didn't understand, you know, what made him the man he was and why he did the things he did. The only character that I thought was sympathetic and that I really got into was the Penelope Cruz one, who played his wife Laura. And she's a really good actress and so beautiful. And she's one of these women who's allowing herself to, she's so beautiful to start with, she's allowing herself to grow old gracefully. And it's a real pet peeve of mine when these women just will not, and men too, just fill their faces with Botox and won't allow themselves to grow old, because they are growing old. You know, you can make yourself look 40 years younger for the camera if you want, but inside your organs are old, you're old, and you can make yourself look as good as possible. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but some people just end up looking like a caricature of their former selves. Oh no, I don't want to name anybody because it's not fair, but there are some people, you'll probably name some in the comments. And I think, why have you done that to yourself? You know, you're perfectly nice looking and you've made yourself look bizarre with lip plumpers and so much Botox that you have no expression on your face, or you've a facelift and just so much eyelashes and hair. And I think it's all a bit crazy, because, you know, there's nothing wrong with growing old. You're lucky if you get to grow old. Embrace it. So that's what I thought of Ferrari anyway. I did get some really nice Christmas presents. Obviously not going to show you them all, but I'll show you a few. I did get some good books. I got some really interesting books. I showed a couple of these on my Instagram page, but not this one. I've been talking about Kate Morton a lot, and my daughter Chloe got me this one, Kate Morton Homecoming. I've been listening to a lot of her books on Borrow Books, but I thought, no, it would actually be nice to read a book. So I've bought that. I've got quite a lot to read at the moment, so I'm going to put that aside. I won't be reading it just yet. I'm not a super fast reader, not these days. I used to be. And I've got this collectibles book from Justin. It's a couple of years out of date, but if you bought the very up-to-date one, it was like double the price. And I thought, well, how much are things going to change in a couple of years? So I asked him to get me this one. It's the Miller's Guide to Collectibles Handbook and Price Guide, and it's really interesting. I started flicking through it and looking at some things because I want to just learn, because so I'm getting more into collectibles and vintage stuff, and I need to improve my knowledge really. So yeah, so very good. I've been looking at that over Christmas. You can see I've put a bookmark in there already. And then Chloe also bought me this book because she's been reading it and she knows I like this kind of thing. Chris Van Tulleken, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Ultra Processed People. Why do we all eat stuff that isn't food, and why can't we stop? A bit like the Tim Spector book, which I have got as well and I've been reading. I'm not even all the way through that actually, but I want to eat more healthily. I don't like eating a lot of processed stuff. I've eaten more processed food over Christmas than I would normally eat because I've bought things like mince pies and ready-made Christmas puddings and some cakes and dips and things like that, which I wouldn't normally do, but you have to save yourself some time where you can when you're busy. So I thought that would be an interesting book, and Chloe read it and enjoyed it and thought I would like it. And then the other thing I got that I really liked, Justin bought me a light box actually, which is another thing to help my online business, because I have lots of small things and the light in here is terrible. The lampshade in here casts a very strange glow, and we tend to get too much sun or not enough in this house because we've got a hill going this way and a slight dip going that way, and the only good light tends to be in the bedroom, and it's not really suitable. Justin's niece Chelsea bought me a very posh Yves Saint Laurent perfume called Libra, and it's wonderful. I mean, I never buy myself perfume, very rarely, but it's actually, I haven't got any on today. It's lovely. I think it was probably quite expensive, but she works in the industry, so she probably got it a bit cheaper, but she actually had it engraved. I don't know if you can see that. She's put Jane on it, which is a rather nice touch, isn't it? So it means I have to keep the bottle forever. And Justy got a male equivalent. I don't know what his was called, whether his was Libra as well, but he got a male one with Justin on it, which I thought that was a really nice present. So I was really pleased with that. So I got some lovely gifts. I hope you got something nice as well for Christmas, if you bother celebrating. It's nice just to have a few treats, isn't it, every now and then. And then, so the other thing I've been doing with thinking about new year, renewal, new start, regenerating everything, was to update the budget. So my daughter bought me a little budget book, which I did start. I don't think I brought it down with me. I started to fill in, then I realised it was too small. The bits that I need to fill in, there's not enough space. So I actually am going to move on to a spreadsheet, I think, this year, and actually just keep it all up to date on my spreadsheet, and then do spending tracker. I could use that little book for a spending tracker, or I might use an online, an app. I'm going to have a look at some of the apps that are spending trackers. And I think rather than doing pen to paper, I'm going to try a different approach again this year. So I've been redoing my budget. I've reviewed what we've spent on groceries and fuel. Fuel was better than I thought it was going to be. Gas and electric, they've been steady, but obviously they have gone up just a few months ago, and they're going up again, aren't they, on the 1st of January? So I think we've probably not had the heating on enough. With the girls here over Christmas, they're always in the bathroom, always in a bath, always having a shower. And even though we nearly always keep the fanlight window open, I noticed this morning that there was mould growing along the top of the window. And I think that's just because there's been so much condensation. And I haven't been wiping it off. It's been so busy. I hadn't actually noticed it, to be honest. So I've zapped that this morning. I'm going to go and give it a wipe in a minute. So energy. I think if we'd had a bit more heating on, it just hasn't felt like that we'd needed it that much. But I think sometimes I just needed to put it on for an hour just to dry the house out, because I don't want to get a lot of mould in the house. So I'm going to be doing that in the future. Just put it on either first thing in the morning when it's a bit chilly, or last thing at night. Because I don't have the heating on very much, I find I just don't feel the cold really. When Mum comes, she's always like, freezing, put the heating on. And my oldest daughter as well, she's always freezing. But I think I must have just got tough from not having it on. But as I said, we had mold problem in our last house and I don't want it to happen here. So it's going to be going on every day from now on. What else did I do? Oh yes, well, I managed to pop into the charity shop. I showed you those things I bought when I showed you my office. We did my office confession. Bought a few nice little things, and I've got a few things to list. So I managed to squeeze that in when I was going to meet Justin, because we actually drove in separately because he was coming from his mum's to see Ferrari. There's a big Emmaus warehouse, and you do have to go through a lot of shocking stuff to find the good stuff. But I found a few little nice bits, and I didn't have very long. As I got out of the car, the heavens opened and it deluged. I mean, it's the biggest lot of rain I can remember seeing in one go here. So I stayed in there for about 20-25 minutes. And then I had to go meet Justin and get some food. But it was dripping through. They've got in their warehouse has got a roof which is perspex in place. It was actually dripping through, so it was that bad. But I was pleased that I actually did manage to get to a charity shop and get a few bits and pieces. And the other thing I have been doing, thinking of turning over a new leaf, is getting back to I'm just getting my books, my low carb eating. So I've been doing a meal plan and a shopping list using this book, which you will have seen before if you watch my channel, Quick Keto. It's got a few good things in there. I'm not doing keto, I'm doing lowish carb eating. So I'm not eating bread. I'll have potatoes occasionally, I might have rice occasionally. I'll avoid carbs that are processed or full of sugar or wheat, So I might have a few here and there, but generally lowish carbs. So I want some ideas. But because I find it is expensive if you eat a lot of meat, plus I don't enjoy just eating constant meat. I just don't really like meat. I've said before, I'm a natural vegetarian, really. I was vegetarian for a long time, but now I have such bad IBS, I just cannot eat a proper vegetarian or vegan diet. I just can't. It's just not worth doing it. Having said that, I picked up this, Rose Elliott's Vegetarian Low Carb Diet, for more inspiration. And it's got some good recipes in it. The only problem with it is the other thing I can't eat a lot of is soya, and she relies heavily on tofu, which is obviously a soybean curd. So there's a lot of soya in this book, and so I can't really use those recipes, but there are some recipes that I can use. And then there's this one, which is quite a fancy book, Low Carb Vegetarian, and it's got some quite good things in it. So some of them are a bit too fancy. Like if I was doing a meal for somebody else, I might look at using some of them. But it's very nice. It's very glossy. And she's still, the author still subscribes to the idea that, you don't want to eat too much fat. Whereas when you do sort of reading around keto, you realise you can eat fat. It's the carbs and sugar that you need to cut down on. So, and I think that is definitely the case for me. And I have had some, although I was very energetic leading up to Christmas, I actually had lots of energy. I was very organised and I really kept on top of everything. Since Christmas, I've, as I say, I felt quite overwhelmed, but I haven't had a lot of energy. I've been absolutely exhausted. And I do think that happens when I eat a lot of carbs. So another good reason to get back to it. So I've been working through the fridge. We've got a fridge in the garage. We've got a small fridge in here, which is a built-in one, and made sure that we used as many of the leftovers as we possibly could, which was easy while the girls were here because they are like a plague of locusts and eat everything. So we've got the things that were perishable. I've put a few portions of chili that were left over from Boxing Day. I put in the freezer to have another time. We ate all of the turkey. I froze the turkey carcass, which I will make stock with another time. Chloe made, last night, she made a boiled gammon, and she made it in a kind of fancy stock with some cider and stuff. And I've kept that stock to make some soup in a bit, which I will try to do today if I can. If I don't do today, it won't happen at all, I don't think, because I'm out tomorrow. But so I'm going to try and do that. But we ate all of the leftover ham, all of the leftover meat, didn't overbuy, and that was the crucial bit. However, and I've got a little bit of salad, which I'll try and use tonight. What else? Chloe made a fabulous bubble and squeak, actually. It was more a hash, with all the Christmas Day vegetables. There weren't many left over, but there were a few from being just in. It was sprouts and parsnips and carrot and some chestnuts and a few other bits and pieces, and she chopped it all up with chicken and sausage meat, a turkey rather than sausage meat, and made a hash and put an egg on top. And it was honestly, it was delicious, a really good way of using up Christmas veg, and a kind of variation on bubble and squeak. It wasn't really bubble and squeak, there's too many other things in it, but it was really, really nice. So I've tried to do that, but having said that, chocolates, chocolate biscuits, matchmakers, a whole panettone. These are all full of carbs, so I don't really want them in the house. Over here we've got mince pies. There's a full box of mince pies, a few crackers, and this was a gift. I'm definitely giving this to Justin's mum because she loves shortbread. A nice tin of shortbread. But you know, I have literally no willpower. So what I have to do, if I'm going to stick to low carb, is that I have to plan all of the meals. I have to make sure that I've shopped to have everything in. I have to plan low carb snacks in, and I have to have things here, and I have to hide the high carb stuff or get it out of the house. So things like the mince pies. Justin loves a mince pie and custard for dessert, so I will put them where I can't see them. They're out of my sight. If he wants something like that for his dessert, he can have that. There's also half a Christmas pudding, I noticed, and some brandy butter, so he might be having that later. But I haven't started yet, so I might have a bit with him. I'm going to start when I go shopping, which will be on Tuesday now. So it'll be on the 2nd when everybody's gone back to work. I'll wait till they've all gone, and then I'll go and do a shop and get everything that we need to last us the next sort of fortnight or so. Got to get some cat food as well, and some dog biscuits and some dog chews. So got quite a bit of shopping to do. But I do intend a fairly low spend January. I did mention this when I was talking about possibly doing a no spend January. I don't think I'm going to do a no spend January, but I'm going to make it a very low spend January. I've been looking at some carpets. That was one of the reasons I wasn't going to do a low spend January, but I can't really see anything I want. And I don't think we're just not really at the point where we can replace the carpets, because we've got to finish decorating all downstairs, and the only places that have carpets are the bedrooms. So I think actually we'll put that on hold, and you know, maybe there'll be a summer sale. We might be ready to do it. There's no point in buying carpets and putting the carpets down and we haven't done any decorating, then we ruin it, or they get mucked up before the decorating's even done. So that's it really. That's my plans. The house needs a good clean. As I say, I need to tidy everything up and just make it all presentable, catch up with the laundry, make sure we've used up as much as possible before I go shopping food-wise. Finish my meal plan. I've got a list of recipes, so I just need to write it out day by day what we're going to have. And I think that's it. So I think then I'll feel a bit more on the ball and start next week as if I've turned over a new leaf for a new year. So is anybody else feeling like this? Anybody else feeling totally overwhelmed with clutter and things that they need to catch up with now that the holiday season is over? How are you managing that? Or are you already really organised and going into a shiny new year feeling totally on top of things and in control? Let me know in the comments, and I will be back. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week, as I said, from next week. So I think I'll aim for Wednesday. I'll be back on Wednesday and then back to my regular Sunday slot. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and then you'll know next time I put a video up, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.